Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Rocky and the Guns podcast. That break music was The Who, Bob O'Reilly. So, welcome back, everybody. Sorry for those technical difficulties there. We do have our next guest on the line, so I want to go ahead and bring him in. Michael Marsh, he's been a guest a couple of times here. As you know, Ephraim, he's a great advocate in Florida. He works so hard. I'm following you every single day, Michael. He's advocating for body cams. He's advocating for unlawful killings by police officers against unlawful killings, and for some accountability and all kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and put him on and let him update us himself.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you too, by the way, Michael, because I just think you're such an awesome
thank
guy.
you very much. It's always a
Michael.
pleasure. How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing very well.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
And I always think back to the time that you were on the show and you were like en route and you I think you were talking to us as you were driving, and then you like got pulled over by the police. I mean, like in hindsight, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny while you're going through it, but.
Well, you know, the great part is I'll laugh all the way to the bank, thanks to my fine friends at the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. But speaking of them, we're going to be doing a nice sit-in coming very soon. Right now, in the murder death of Alteria Woods, the case is getting ready to go in front of a grand jury. And to recap, Alteria Woods was a young lady that was shot and killed by the SWAT team of the Indian River County Sheriff's Office on March 19th when they were doing one of their war on drugs warrants there. And they claimed a boyfriend used her as a human shield. They also claimed that it was only a single shot that killed her and that she just happened to be pregnant. And as of the last rally I put together a little over a week ago, once again I debunked the sheriff's lies. It was not a single shot. The death certificate proved that. She was not pregnant, which that also was proved on the death certificate. And yesterday was a beautiful day in Indian River County, because any time you can have two deputies as well as the sheriff run away from you, it's something to be proud of. And last night I was on the news, and it doesn't look too good when a sheriff has no comment when an activist is showing that there's a misappropriation of funds. It's nothing but tax dollar waste of his budget, and there is no transparency, and there's no going to body cameras because we have no accountability nor accessibility. So I'll take that as a win for us activists there. And, you know, it's sad. It really, truly is. And we're going to put together this sit-in.
Was the sheriff's office trying to, put out a narrative out there that didn't exist? Because when I've talked to other law enforcement officers, who fight corrupt law enforcement officers, they tell me that, what they want to do first out is create the agenda. They want to create the story. This is what happened. She was pregnant. She was bad news. She was doing drugs. They always want to turn it, and then as soon as the people see it, unsuspectingly, it's good guys versus bad guys. They always go with the good guys. They want to create the narrative. Is that why they're making up stories about Alteria's? Can you pronounce her name for me again?
Yeah, Alteria Woods.
Alteria. Oh, yeah. Alteria's murder. Is that why they're trying to cover it up?
Well, yes. As far as the narrative, you hit it right on the head. The thing is, the boyfriend that she was with came from a family that they were no strangers to the River County Sheriff's Office. Unfortunately, just because you may associate yourself with whoever, and actually this young man was going back on the straight and narrow because of his relationship with her. She was actually, turning his life around. And literally days before the murder, he was pulled over. He was harassed. The video went viral. And also he had a lawsuit against the sheriff's office as well. And originally it was that all these drugs were in the house. There was no warrant for her. She was a victim by all accounts. Even the good old boy sheriff himself called her a victim. But yet part of his narrative was to use a 14-year-old juvenile mugshot picture of her to further victimize and criminalize her. And that was the biggest problem I had as well.
And
as
that should
family.
be something sealed. Shouldn't it be even aren't juvenile records in most cases sealed?
Oh yeah, they are. And the thing is,
they shouldn't even be out.
He could have used any picture he wanted. And yesterday, when I was screaming at him about the mugshot, he had no comment whatsoever. And the thing is, the county that we live in, not only is it a good old boy network, but the so-called NAACP leader, he might as well put a nice little Klans uniform on because he's just as bad. And it's disgusting.
Why do you say that?
Disgusting.
They're not helping the community. Is that why you're saying that?
Well, a video, actually, the video went viral about 3 weeks ago. Their president of the NAACP, and I want to just say real quick, as funny as it may sound, I'm actually running as the NAACP president the next election because, hey, if it takes me coming in there to fix what they can't fix, then so be it. I'll be the non-melanated president that they've ever had there. Every single time.
I saw that. I saw your Facebook post. Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm dead serious.
You go, Michael.
I'm actually a current member of the NAACP because I believe their original value is the advancement. It was not a yes, sir, master mentality of whatever boss does, it's fine with us. And I have every article since this NAACP president has been in office, which has been the same time period that the sheriff has been in office, that it's been consistent to where they have never done anything for any black that has been beaten, and it's been the same story all the time. We're waiting for the facts. We don't want to rush to anything. Listen, what do you mean you don't want to rush to anything? The facts are already out there. They're supposed to be a partnership.
Yeah, she's dead already. Yeah, I can't stand that when people say that also. Yeah, don't talk about it because you know what? We don't know. You weren't there. You know, but she's dead. Okay, so let's talk about that. You know what I mean?
There's things that we do know. What we do know is a single shot. The word single means that one round struck her. We know definitively that it was not a single round just based on the death certificate. Now, when the autopsy report comes out, then that will be made public, and that too will show the number of times that poor young lady was murdered. Now, if you go back to the human shield theory just for a second, just common sense, just thinking to yourself, at what point, if she was used as a human shield, did it turn into a hostage situation that they should have said, cease fire, stop shooting? You know, even if you have no understanding of law enforcement in a hostage situation, if you knew she was being held, okay, and how in the world were they using ammo that would have pierced through her body into his? And we already know the types of ammo that was used. There is so many different individuals that are looking into this right now that all their lives are unraveling. And 11 days, they all went back to work, business as usual, at the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. If that shouldn't spark the attention of an outside investigation, I don't know what the hell should. And their internal affairs.
Are you calling for a special? Are you getting a special prosecutor to handle the grand jury hearing?
Yeah, well, that's already in the process. Actually, most likely the way it looks, within 2 weeks, that's the reason for the sit-in. I'm trying to give this as much exposure and keep this the spotlight in Gifford, Florida, shining as bright as possible, because in the Corey Jones case, the grand jury seen what took place, and they did come back with an indictment. And though I'm never hopeful when it comes to a grand jury process, because an ex parte, one-sided hearing does not do any good, in my opinion, but sometimes they do get it right. So I'm hoping in this situation, just as in the Corey Jones case, that the grand jury will see what's taking place and hear the true set of facts and not the false narrative that I've fully debunked, 110%. If you watch his video and you see the proof.
Is the family going to get their own separate private autopsy report?
Well, that's actually something that's being talked about right now. The family just retained an attorney, so he's working behind the scenes. But in my opinion, without speaking of certain things that are kind of private to the family, you can never trust when the medical examiner's office, the prosecutor, everyone in my eyes in a good old boy network, they're all in bed with each other. So any findings, any type of anything has to be rechecked, checked again, and it has to come from independent, no one that has a dog in this race, and you will not get that in Indian River County. This is a small, good old boy town, and it's not going to happen. When the state prosecutor, when the state attorney's office has spouses at the sheriff's office, vice versa, that right there should alarm people, and it's an absolute, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. 11 days. How is Internal Affairs still investigating this case? But they are working. So we have killers amongst us right now that could be charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, anything. But they're working in our community right now as we speak. And that should really, truly worry the community of Gifford. And we're going to work on taking back their community. We're going to get back community-oriented policing. We're going to show that black votes actually do matter. We're going to get these good old boys the hell out, because if there's one thing we can do, we have the voting voice. And it's time now to educate the people, and that's what's going to continue to take place. These community meetings that the sheriff's office attends, if they're not going to be community-oriented, I will put a stop to them. They will not hold these meetings no longer while that building is our tax dollars, and the people of Gifford are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So we're going to put a stop to it. Just like he ran away out the county commissioners meeting, it will be the same exact thing when they hold their community-oriented meetings, because we do not have community-oriented policing at all at this sheriff's office. And it needs to stop. And the body cameras, it's going to take...
What's going on with the body cam? What is going on with the body cameras, Michael? I thought they were headed in the right direction at some point, and then now you're saying that they rejected the body cams in Indian River.
There's two smaller police departments. I've worked hand in hand with both of the chiefs, and it's great to report that both are looking into it. They both are proponents. The city of Vero Beach, the city of Sebastian, both two smaller city police departments. They both want to go to the body cameras. Right now, the state has went to new radios, so that's something that they have to go to first. So unfortunately, it's not in their budget. But when you have a sheriff that proposes $49.9 million of a budget, you're going to tell me you couldn't squeeze in $100,000 worth of body cameras? And he wants machine guns in booking and almost a $20,000 tire machine. These are the things that are within his budget.
Tire machine? What is that?
Yeah.
What?
Literally.
What is a tire machine?
So to balance the tires, they do most of their own mechanics at the sheriff's office. But unless it's NASCAR in Indian River County, what the hell would you need a $19,000 tire machine? There's absolutely no need.
Whoa.
But these are things in this budget that no one even questions. Better yet, wrap your head around the machine guns and booking.
I know that is, it's really, the local PDs or the sheriff's office that collecting, they're getting more money or extra funding from the federal government for becoming military, which of course is unconstitutional, because because American police, they're not supposed to treat us like enemy combatants, right? Because we're American citizens. We're not enemy combatants. But why on earth would you need a machine gun? Like, when was the last time something like that was needed? Like you said, the firearms that were used in the that was a no-knock raid, wasn't it? Or did they have a warrant from a judge?
No, they did have a warrant. They did have a warrant. But
they come in like shooting up,
Yeah, I mean, think about it. The average person, you're shooting out a window. I don't care if everyone in the house were convicted felons. When you're shooting into a home, even a convicted felon falls under to stand your grounds, period. Now, it will be argued that having a firearm is an issue from a convicted felon, but even a convicted felon has the right to protect themselves, period. So anybody...
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
If you're shooting inside of a house, what do you think the outcome is going to be? Obviously, someone's going to shoot.
You're going to kill somebody. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, once you put your finger, any trained person with a firearm, if you're putting your finger on the trigger, well, first of all, I mean, for really safety training, it's just one of the, it's only 4 points, but it's one of the important points. And you just simply do not put your finger on the trigger until you have your sight in, you're willing to obliviate your sight. So you have your sight in motion, and now you are going to take this person out or this thing out or whatever it is, but you are taking them out, and you have to be ready for what happens at the end of that, okay? So you have repercussions from doing that. You have to take responsibility for your actions. So it is improper. You simply, I mean, it's like unsafe use of firearms at the very least.
Exactly.
I mean, charge them with something, but unsafe use of firearms, because certainly not shooting into somebody's home is not lawful police behavior.
And not just that, the biggest concern is the fact that, remember something, before you do a warrant, if you believe and you suspect that there's been drugs bought from this particular home, and you knew that Gualtieri Woods was never involved in any type of drug activity, and you also knew that you could have got this young man any time of the day on the street by himself where it would not be a shootout, why, when her car was in the front yard, and you knew her car because her car was stopped before, and you should also know everyone in that home because you just bought drugs, allegedly, from that home. So why would you conduct this warrant when there's an innocent victim inside the house that has nothing to do? And you could have went and conducted this warrant any time. Shouldn't you minimize anybody who is not involved? Why would you go in?
What's with the SWAT team? And powerful firearms and bullets that go through people.
There was no reason. There was no reason. This young man, they pulled him over numerous times on the road to go in there in darkness where all these elements just made for a tragedy, okay? It made no sense whatsoever. But they're fighting a war on drugs because one of their deputies were killed, and they justify it because of his death. And that, to me, is sickening. Days after, they did another warrant, and they went to the wrong house, and they had to let this couple go because they had the wrong address. These are things that you hear, and you say to yourself, what? You expect them to get it right. You have one chance to get it right before the loss of human life. And time after time, they're not getting it right. 13 pending lawsuits. $1.4 million has been paid out by them. This is not me just giving my opinion. These are facts. These are in black and white. And this is what gets elected time after time. And we need to stop it. And the only way we can stop it is that we educate the people and show them, look at this. Every lawsuit, that is your money. This is tax-paying dollars. When he wants to have a tank, and that, how much does it cost to service that tank? Better yet, what do we need a tank for? For the blacks in Gifford? What do we need a military?
Yeah, what do we need? What do you need a tank for? They do the same thing in my county here in Hillsborough, Florida. I think it's outrageous.
It
what the heck?
is.
Give me a good use for a tank, and I'll have a conversation with you. But I don't see any use against American citizens.
It's crazy. It's a small town. You just wouldn't think about that. They're not going to have a big 20,000 person riot or something. I mean, what is going on with them? That's got to be just egotistical thinking from a sheriff, Michael, that just doesn't care about any of the electorate. No, and the electorate is everyone. Not at all. Everyone.
Not at all.
Everyone.
And let me tell you the biggest problem with these sheriffs, and something needs to change. In the city chief has to answer to a city manager. But who the hell does a county sheriff have to answer to? They are literally God of the county. That's where we have the biggest disconnect. Because if you're the sheriff and you don't care about the constituents because you have the beachside money, who's going to do anything to you? You are untouchable other than the governor himself. And you tell me, this is a way of government.
Or the voters, Michael. I mean, I know that there's ways to manipulate elections, but the sheriff is held accountable to the voters. So you can vote him out as well.
That is
with
true.
All the attention.
And every 4 years, they have got it wrong. This time around, we're putting together because there was not a massive voting turnout in the city of Gifford. That's where we're going to start. Because there's no reason the last election it should have ended the way it did. So, yes, that is a problem. And the other problem is when the community...
Because once you talk about their seat, once you talk about their political seat, they get nervous.
Exactly. And that's what it's going to take. When I do a rally and someone says, I ask the question, who is your county commissioner that represents Gifford? And no one can tell me who it is. Who's your representative for the school board? I don't know. That's when we can only point the finger at ourselves and say, now we must do better. Because if these elected officials are only coming into the black community when it's time for election, then they really don't give a damn about us. Then we need to show them that our voice is loud. And right now, I like to truly believe that our voice is getting louder. And I'll leave off with this because I know we're coming to the time here. But I'm on this convention right now. And when I get back into Indian River County, and it's actually big up here, I don't know if you're familiar with civil citations, Raquel, but apparently Hillsborough for a while didn't go to them. But real quickly, and we can touch on another time, we need to bring civil citations to every sheriff's department, police department. We've got to get them on the ball. There's no reason that we should have juvenile offenders, 13, 14, 15, 16, to have these records when we can save the taxpayers an average of $1,500 up to $4,000 if we give out these civil citations and do not allow them to enter the criminal justice system. And we're not doing it.
I love that idea. I think that's fantastic because it sets up these kids for cash programs. Just like that judge that got arrested. Yeah,
exactly.
Awesome.
And we're
I'm so happy to hear that.
The prison pipeline if we still allow this to happen. So we have to get the conversation to start. I met with the founder of the company. I'll send you his information. But it's going to take us going in front of the city council, county commissioners, because I have the statistics off his website. And Hillsborough was one that was terrible. They didn't want to go to civil citations for a number of years with the old sheriff. And we need to take these statistics and show racial disparity is very real within the minority community. When it comes to every one white, there's 25 others that are being arrested. That is real statistical data that we should say to ourselves, when is enough enough? And it takes more people like us, because there's not. Most people are sitting back, letting this happen, allowing children to be lost, not just in the disgusting family court system, but into the criminal justice system. And it takes more than just our individual voices to actually start making things happen. And I don't know what it takes to wake people. And I get sick and tired of, well, you're doing a great job. No, I don't want to be doing a great job. We need to be doing a great job, because I'm not loud enough alone. So
you know what it takes to be. You know what it takes. You know what it takes to be a good activist, Michael. It's really, really simple. It's really simple. You show up.
That's true.
You just got to show up.
That is true.
Because and it's not easy, right? So you know, it's you wake up and you're like, okay, you got this rally going on, and you know, you were thinking about showing up, but I'm tired, and I could, you know, go get my nails done, or I can go do something else. Stuff like that. That's what deters people sometimes, or that maybe they're a little shy, or that maybe they don't like crowds, or whatever it is. But frankly, and I've said this so many times on my show, Michael, and that is that it's really, really simple. And when you get there, when you show up, you'll see how it works, and you'll want to come back, and you'll want to come back and be a part of it. Because, like you said, if we don't do it as a group, it cannot happen. It can't. No. They're too powerful, because our enemy is so big and powerful that we do really need an army behind us. And what does an army mean? The army means showing up. It's just show up, put it on your calendar, and stick to it, and show up. And we are running a little late. I do want to apologize to my next guest, but I'm going to bring you on right away. But I do want you to just give us your information. How can people find you, and if they want to get involved with what you're doing in Indian River County? I want you to leave off with that.
Definitely. They can just search me on Facebook, Michael C. Marsh, and I run the End Corruption of Indian River County. I also run the Justice for Corey Jones, as well as the Justice for Gualtieri Woods. And as always, as I leave off, it's I am, you are, we are. Team success. And I appreciate you guys very much for all you do. Thank you for allowing me once again to be on. Take care, guys.
Oh, yes. Michael.
God bless you.
Always.
Awesome. I'd love having Michael on. Yeah. I'd have him on every week if he had time. He's doing so many million things. I'd like to impress upon the listeners to go ahead and listen into his or follow him on Facebook because he's updating his page, you know, all the time. So he's really doing a lot of incredible things.
Raquel, you know, I forgot to ask him about
Edward.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done... Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
wow.
been on a bike before,
Sheriff's getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheep up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it, you know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.